Have you ever wondered why some people fall apart under pressure while others walk through chaos with a calm that feels almost unearthly? We live in a world that glorifies noise, hustle, and control. Yet inside, most of us are quietly breaking. We seek strength by pushing harder, but the harder we push, the weaker we feel. What if true mental strength isn't about resistance, but release? Buddhism reveals a truth most people never realize. The mind becomes unshakable not when it dominates life, but when it surrenders wisely to it. Peace is not found by escaping the storm, but by learning to stand still in the rain. Before we begin, subscribe to Deep Wisdom, where every video is a doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist insight you won't find anywhere else. Because today, we're uncovering 5 powerful Buddhist principles that will help you become mentally strong like never before, steady, fearless, and free from chaos. And stay with me till the end. There's a bonus lesson most people miss, yet it's the secret that changes everything. Let's begin. 1. The power that rests in stillness. Why do we think strength must be loud when the ocean's power lies in its depth, not its waves? So often, the world teaches you to roar, to push harder, to always be seen. Yet, the Buddha taught that the greatest strength is not in noise, but in stillness. Peace is not the absence of chaos, he said, but the mastery of it. A strong mind does not silence storms, it learns to rest within them. Imagine your mind as a lake. Every time you react in anger, worry, or fear, you stir the surface. The reflection disappears, and what you once saw clearly becomes distorted. But when you allow your breath to slow, when you stop feeding every restless thought that knocks, the water settles. In that stillness, truth reveals itself. You begin to see not what the world demands of you, but what your soul is whispering beneath the noise. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It means doing everything with awareness. It is the art of being deeply present while the world moves around you. You may face deadlines, arguments, heartbreak, but you no longer allow them to define your peace. The mind becomes like a mountain, silent, immovable, unshaken by passing clouds. The strongest person in the room is often the one who says nothing, because they no longer need to prove anything. Close your eyes for a moment. Take one slow breath in. Feel the air entering your lungs, grounding you to this exact moment. Notice the space between your thoughts. That quiet space, it's not empty, it's alive. It's your inner temple. Every time you return here, you reclaim your power. Because true power isn't control over others, it's mastery over yourself. When was the last time you allowed yourself to pause before acting, to simply breathe before responding? In that pause, life transforms. You stop reacting and begin responding with wisdom. You stop being pulled by emotion and start moving from clarity. A weak mind is swayed by every wave. A strong mind becomes the ocean itself. What happens inside you when silence feels uncomfortable? Does it reveal your unrest or invite your healing? The truth is, silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. But only when you stop searching outside and listen within. Stillness is not a luxury, it's your natural state. Beneath your worries, beneath your plans, beneath your fears, there is a calm that has never left you. Could stillness be your hidden strength rather than your weakness? In 2026, let this be your new definition of power. Not how loud you can be, but how deeply you can listen. Because the mind that rests in stillness becomes unshakable, and when you master silence, you master life. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I am mentally free." 2. How to detach without becoming cold. Is it possible to love deeply and still let go when it's time? Most people believe strength means holding on. We cling to relationships, careers, or memories as if losing them would mean losing ourselves. Yet, the Buddha taught that true love is not possession. It is freedom. To hold on too tightly is to crush the very thing you love. What you grasp out of fear, you eventually destroy. What you hold with understanding, you allow to bloom. Think of the open palm of a hand. When you release control, life rests in it more gently. But when you grasp too tightly, afraid of losing what you have, even love begins to slip through your fingers. Detachment isn't coldness, it's wisdom. It is knowing that love doesn't end when someone leaves. The connection you nurture in awareness never dies. It simply changes form. Just as the river doesn't mourn when it meets the ocean, the wise heart doesn't mourn change. It flows with it. So many suffer because they confuse attachment with love. Attachment says, "I need you to make me feel whole." Love says, "I honor you even if we must part." Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You stop making people and situations responsible for your inner peace. And when you stop clutching so hard, life stops hurting so much. You learn that peace was never about holding, it was about allowing. Imagine your worries as grains of sand resting on your palm. For years, you've kept your hand closed, afraid they'd scatter. But now, take a deep breath, open your hand, and feel them slowly flow away. This is not loss, it's release. The sand that falls returns to the earth, just as every experience returns to the cycle of life. Notice how your hand feels lighter, your heart softer. That's the weight of illusion leaving your spirit. Who or what are you clinging to, even though it's time to release? Perhaps it's an old version of yourself, a relationship that no longer nourishes, or a dream that no longer fits your truth. Letting go does not mean you failed. It means you finally understand. You cannot carry everything and still walk freely toward peace. What would letting go free you to feel again? Sometimes the very thing we hold on to is what blocks us from receiving something greater. In Buddhism, compassion begins where attachment ends. Because when you stop needing others to make you feel whole, you can finally love them as they are, not as you wish them to be. Can compassion exist without attachment? The answer is yes, and in that truth lies your greatest strength. The heart that loves without clinging becomes vast and fearless. Like the sky, it holds everything but possesses nothing. In 2026, may your strength be the courage to open your hand and let life flow as it was always meant to. 3. The art of responding, not reacting. Why does a single word from someone else have the power to ruin our entire day? Perhaps because we forget that our peace was never meant to belong to another. The Buddha taught, the one who controls his reaction controls his world. A strong mind is not one that never feels. It is one that feels deeply, yet chooses wisely. Every moment offers two paths, reaction or response. One is fire, the other is light. A candle flickers wildly when the wind blows, but if it's shielded within a lantern, the flame remains steady. Your awareness is that lantern. When you react instantly, you remove the shield, and the winds of anger, fear, and pride consume you. But when you pause, when you breathe, you protect that sacred flame. You realize that no one truly disturbs your peace. You hand it over yourself. And in that realization, you begin to reclaim your strength. Imagine the next time someone's words sting or a situation triggers frustration. Before speaking, take one deep breath. Feel the heat rise in your chest. Then watch it soften with each exhale, as if cooling molten iron into calm steel. You are not your emotion. You are the space that watches it. When you learn this, life stops controlling you. You start shaping life. Like a monk observing his reflection in still water, you see the emotion arise, ripple, and fade. You remain still, watching without drowning. Reaction is easy. It comes from habit. Response is mastery. It comes from awareness. The weak mind lives in the reflex. The strong mind lives in reflection. Each pause before you respond is a seed of wisdom planted in your consciousness. You stop adding fuel to the fire and instead bring air to the soul. The power to choose your reaction is the first step to mental freedom. What triggers your strongest emotional reactions? It could be criticism, rejection, or the need to be understood. But what if those triggers were not punishments, but teachers? Each one shows you where your peace still depends on something outside yourself. The next time you feel anger rising, smile inwardly and whisper, "Ah, here is my lesson." That single moment of recognition turns pain into practice. Can you pause for 3 seconds before you respond next time? 3 seconds of awareness can save you from hours of regret. The pause is not weakness, it is wisdom in motion. In those 3 seconds, you reclaim your dignity, your energy, your clarity. What would it feel like to be untouchable, not by distance, but by understanding? The Buddha's mind was unshakable, not because life spared him pain, but because he no longer reacted to it blindly. In 2026, let this be your power, to live as the calm flame in the storm, protected by awareness, burning bright and never consumed. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I am mentally free." 4. When acceptance becomes your superpower. Why do we spend so much time fighting reality, as if resistance could rewrite what already is? The mind often believes that by refusing to accept, it can change the pain. But the Buddha taught that suffering begins not with what happens, but with our refusal to let it be. The moment you stop resisting, he said, peace enters through the door. True strength is not found in endless battle. It is found in surrender. Not the surrender of weakness, but of wisdom. Life is like water. When you try to push it, it slips through your hands. But when you cup your palms, it rests perfectly within them. Acceptance works the same way. The more you struggle against what life gives, the more exhausted you become. But when you open yourself to it, to the mistakes, the endings, the delays, you find that peace has been waiting for you all along. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift transforms resistance into awakening. Imagine everything you're fighting right now, failure, loss, uncertainty, floating in front of you. Instead of turning away, breathe in slowly and whisper to each, "You may stay." Let those words melt the armor you've built around your heart. Feel the release in your body as the struggle softens. What you allow transforms you. What you resist persists. Acceptance is not giving up. It's stepping into the flow of what already is, with the grace to move forward. When you resist, you close yourself to life. You become a clenched fist against the world. But when you accept, you open like a lotus, rooted in the same muddy waters you once tried to escape, yet rising beautifully above them. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you stop growing against yourself. You learn to work with life, not in opposition to it. What are you resisting right now that's draining your peace? Maybe it's a situation that didn't unfold as planned, or a person you can't seem to change. Notice how much energy it takes to keep fighting reality. Now imagine redirecting that energy toward calmness, toward creating something new, toward peace. That shift is liberation. How could acceptance actually give you more control, not less? Because when you stop fighting, you finally see clearly. From that clarity comes wise action, not reaction. Acceptance turns chaos into understanding. It turns pain into purpose. Can you see strength in surrendering to what already is? The ocean does not resist the tide. It flows with it, knowing every wave returns home. In 2026, may your strength be the courage to accept what comes and trust what leaves. Because once you stop resisting life, life stops resisting you. And in that still harmony, peace finds you again. 5. The quiet mind that conquers everything. What if your greatest victories don't come from force, but from silence? In a world that glorifies noise, speed, and endless doing, quietness feels like surrender. Yet, the Buddha taught that the mind that conquers all is the one that no longer wrestles with itself. When the mind becomes quiet, he said, even the impossible bows down to clarity. True power does not roar. It rests in unshakable stillness. A mountain doesn't chase the clouds. It simply stands, and eventually the sky clears. The same is true for your mind when it learns stillness. When thoughts come, they swirl like mist. When emotions rise, they thunder like passing storms. But the mountain never moves. It watches, it endures, it remains. Your mind, too, can learn to remain untouched by every passing thought. That is not weakness, it is mastery. When you become still inside, no external chaos can reach you. Picture yourself as that mountain, immovable, peaceful, timeless. With each breath, feel the weight of your presence grounding you deeper into the earth. Let every thought drift by like a cloud without chasing or judging it. Watch it float away until the sky of your mind begins to clear. In that vast space of awareness, you see everything more clearly: your emotions, your decisions, your truth. This is the mind of a warrior, but a warrior of peace. Quietness is not an escape from life. It is the foundation that allows you to live fully. From silence, insight is born. From stillness, strength grows. The noisy mind reacts to life. The quiet mind creates it. When your mind becomes calm, your energy aligns, your words become precise, and your actions meaningful. You begin to move not out of impulse, but intention. You stop being a prisoner of thought and become the master of it. How can you train your mind to return to quietness again and again? Begin with small pauses throughout your day. When stress rises, don't rush to fix it. Observe it. When noise surrounds you, breathe slower. Let silence be your teacher, not your escape. Each return to calm is a victory over chaos, a reminder that peace is not found, it's remembered. What could you see more clearly if you stopped chasing every thought? Thoughts are clouds, they pass, but you are the sky, unchanging, vast, infinite. When you stop chasing, clarity returns. The quiet mind does not fight for answers, it receives them effortlessly. Can calmness become your daily strength, not your rare escape? The truth is, calmness is strength. It is the power that neither fears nor rushes. In 2026, let your silence be your revolution. Because when the mind rests in stillness, even the storms bow down, and life, in all its chaos, finally kneels before your peace. Bounce principle. The art of bending without breaking. Why do some people rise stronger after life shatters them, while others never recover from a single crack? The difference is not in what they face, but in how they bend. The Buddha often taught that suffering ends not when life stops testing you, but when you stop resisting the flow. True mental strength isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being unshakably flexible. It's not the rigid that survives the storm, but the one that can bow and rise again with grace. The tree that bends with the wind survives the storm. These words remind us that resilience is not hardness, it is softness rooted in wisdom. Picture a bamboo in heavy rain. It sways, it bends, it bows deeply to the earth. Yet when the storm passes, it stands upright again, untouched in essence. That is the secret of mental strength. You don't fight the storm, you dance with it. You don't resist change, you flow through it. And when the chaos settles, your calm remains. We spend so much of our lives trying to be strong in the wrong way. We harden ourselves against pain, believing that to endure, we must become stone. But stone cracks under enough pressure. The bamboo, however, never breaks. It learns to move with life. Mental strength in Buddhism is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to feel deeply without drowning, to fall and still find your way back to center. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself as that bamboo. Feel the weight of your challenges pressing down, loss, disappointment, uncertainty. Instead of resisting, bend gently. Let your breath move through the tension. Trust that you will rise again when the wind quiets. Feel yourself returning to balance, stronger not because nothing touched you, but because nothing could uproot you. This is resilience, the art of bending without breaking. What storms in your life are asking you to bend, not break? Perhaps it's a dream that didn't unfold, a relationship that changed, or a path that seems unclear. Every hardship is a wind meant to shape you, not destroy you. When you stop fighting the inevitable, you begin to see that each challenge is refining your spirit, teaching you grace in motion. Where have you mistaken flexibility for weakness? Flexibility is not surrender. It is survival through wisdom. It is the courage to let go of control while staying grounded in truth. The unyielding mind suffers. The adaptable mind evolves. How can you stay deeply rooted even as you adapt to change? Remember, your roots are your values, your awareness, your compassion. They hold you steady while the outer world shifts. In 2026, let your strength be like bamboo, soft enough to move, yet strong enough to stand. Because the mind that learns to bend will never break. It will only grow deeper, wiser, and freer with every storm that passes. Quick summary of the principles. The power that rests in stillness. Real strength begins when the mind learns to rest. In stillness, we discover clarity, focus, and resilience that no chaos can disturb. Mental power grows not from control, but from calm awareness. A still mind sees reality as it is and acts from wisdom, not impulse. How to detach without becoming cold. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means freedom from emotional dependence. When you love without clinging and care without controlling, you find peace in every outcome. Compassionate detachment allows you to stay kind, yet unshaken by loss or change. The art of responding, not reacting. Every reaction is a surrender of power, but every conscious response is mastery. The ability to pause between stimulus and response defines your strength. When you act from awareness, not emotion, you remain the calm eye in life's storm. When acceptance becomes your superpower. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's wisdom in motion. It transforms resistance into peace and pain into understanding. When you stop fighting reality, you free the energy needed to move forward with balance, clarity, and grace. The quiet mind that conquers everything. A quiet mind is a mind that sees clearly and acts decisively. Calmness is not passive, it's powerful. When your inner world is still, your outer world aligns effortlessly. True strength is not loud, it is peaceful, steady, and unshakable. Bounce principle, the art of bending without breaking. Resilience is not rigidity, it's flexibility. The mind that can adapt without losing its essence becomes invincible. Life's storms don't break you when you learn to yield with grace and return with greater wisdom and balance. Strength is not found in perfection, it's born in presence. When your mind learns to bend without breaking, to respond without reacting, and to love without clinging, you become unshakable. The storms of life no longer define you, they refine you. In the silence between thoughts, a new kind of power is born, the calm strength that cannot be taken, no matter how hard life hits. Peace does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise or trouble. It means to remain calm in the midst of it all. The essence of Zen reminds us, mastery begins when you stop fighting the moment and start flowing with it. The world may remain loud, but your peace can stay louder within. So, stay rooted in stillness, rise through detachment, and walk through life untouchable. If this message touched your heart, like and share this video, share your opinion in the comments, and subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a peaceful, powerful life.